Breaking news at this hour, Iowa basketball landing another 2023 recruit. This one was needed. Athleticism. I always love to hear that. We'll talk about it. The commitment of Ladji Dembélé in a moment. But first, want to thank Iowa Floor Covering and their Tough Core Click Together 4.5 millimeter waterproof vinyl flooring, available right now at $269 per foot with self-installation. Visit iowafloorcovering.com/DIY. And the guys down at IFC are located right in Bondurant. They serve the state of Iowa proudly. They're a family-owned company. Again, iowafloorcovering.com/DIY. So the news at this hour, the breaking news at this hour, Iowa lands another commit for its 2023 class. Power forward Ladji Dembélé commits to Iowa's 23 class, a 6'8", 6'9" forward from St. Benedict Prep out in Newark, New Jersey. This is a kid that you look at his other offers. He had some solid high major offers. Iowa was in the final three along with Wake Forest and Rutgers. But if you look at the complete list of offers, according to 247 Sports, Iowa, Wake Forest, Rutgers, DePaul, Pittsburgh was in on Dembélé. Also, Seton Hall was a team that was had offered Ladji, and then Xavier as well. You watch him on tape, he gives you athleticism, something Iowa needed in this class. It's a solid class, no doubt about it. They've signed Owen Freeman, Brock Harding, Pryce Sandfort. I think Pryce, from a high school standpoint, is considered to be the better of the two Sandfort brothers, and certainly Peyton has made a big jump heading into this season. It'll be interesting to see what Pryce does, but I don't consider Pryce to be this athletic phenom. And I'd say the same thing about Owen Freeman. Really solid big. He's going to give you production inside, which Iowa desperately needs, especially with the soon-to-be departure of Filip Rebraca. And then you know what you're getting with Brock Harding. Really quick guard. I think he's got the potential to be good laterally. He's got the quickness, the inherent, just a natural ability to move laterally. But athleticism is not a strong suit of this 2023 class. And with Iowa losing Filip Rebraca this year, next year inside, which I think he's going to give them a really good defensive presence throughout the season. They needed somebody that could give them length, give them athleticism, and could help them, especially on defense. And I think Ladji Dembélé will certainly do that. You watch him on tape, he can stretch the floor on offense. He can shoot the mid-range shot. He's got a nice fadeaway. Can also step out and shoot the three. He's probably not going to give you 5-6 threes a game, but he's going to probably at least be a threat from outside. And he seems to play bigger than he is at 6'8", 6'9". I mean, I'm not saying he's a natural five or that he's going to play the five at Iowa, which I think he probably will with how Fran likes to play, and certainly teams playing more small ball nowadays. I could see him playing at the five extensively. And moving forward, of course, with Owen Freeman on this roster moving forward as well, I think you're going to see a lot of Dembélé and Owen Freeman together on the court, which is intriguing to say the least, because they're two very different players. But I think Dembélé's actually got a pretty good inside game. You watch him, he's got some nice post moves. That's going to develop. His post game is going to develop once he gets to Iowa. Iowa, of course, did really well with Luka Garza and even Keegan Murray, and Keegan's ability to post up as his season last year went on in his 2 years at Iowa. So I expect that Dembélé is going to be developed at Iowa on the inside. But I do think the biggest thing he gives you is athleticism, specifically on defense. You, again, look forward without Filip Rebraca, without Chris Murray. And I understand Rebraca is not an athletic phenom, but Chris Murray is probably their best athlete in that front court. Patrick McCaffery will be back. We expect him to be back next season, but he's an athlete. He's a good athlete, but they don't have anybody. They would not have anybody like Chris Murray in that front court, even if Mulvey or Ogundele develop. Those guys are obviously not the athletic presence that Chris Murray is. And I mean, frankly, you look across the roster, they've got Desante Bowen, who gives you a good degree of athleticism in the backcourt. Aaron Eulis and Tony Perkins, I think they're fine back there. After that, I mean, where do you look on this roster moving forward and say, wow, they've got a lot of athletes? Peyton Sandfort's going to play a lot of the three moving forward. I mentioned Patrick McCaffery, Pryce Sandfort, Brock Harding, and then you look at the bigs. they needed somebody who had athleticism, who was a guy who can go inside and be a rim protector. And I think Dembélé at 6'8", 6'9", who can stretch the floor on offense, gives you what you need. Is he a project? Maybe a bit. I mean, I don't know. Again, I mentioned his post game. I've seen a limited amount of tape on this kid, but he can stretch the floor already. So that is going to give him an opportunity to be on the floor earlier in his career. And I don't want to point fingers, but you look at the couple of bigs that are not playing right now, and I think they're obviously more natural fives at 6'11", 7 foot. Those guys have not shown the ability to stretch the floor. So they're going to have to take a big jump inside. Dembélé might be able to survive if he can give you solid defense, even if his post game is really raw. He may just see the court early because of the fact that Iowa was likely to lose Chris Murray next year, and this guy can shoot from outside, and that's big, obviously, in today's game and in Fran McCaffery's system. So, I mean, I'm again breaking news. Had on good word that this was going to occur. So had this video ready for release here at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Wednesday. Of course, Iowa Seton Hall this evening. If you're watching this video, we'll be live with Coach Gary Close following the Iowa Seton Hall game. But again, congratulations to Ladji Dembélé. It'll be cool to get to know him and to see how he fits in. Very unique prospect here. Not saying that he's not some degree of a project. He's a 3-star, maybe flying a bit under the radar, but had good high major offers. And we'll see what Iowa can do with his talent, because he certainly has athleticism and talent. And Fran McCaffery has proven he can develop guys like Ladji. Appreciate you tuning in for another segment here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Tune in for Iowa postgame with Coach Gary Close tonight following the Pirates and the Hawkeyes.